Now, according to the Progress in International Reading Literacy Study, or PIRLS report, more than 80% of our 10-year-olds cannot read for meaning in any language. This news broke last week. Not only did we get one of the poorest scores on this 5-yearly international study, we have slipped in the 2021 rankings more than any other country. COVID lockdowns certainly played a role, but the results clearly show that the kids getting left behind are poor and living in rural areas. President Cyril Ramaphosa's commitment that by 2030 all 10-year-olds will be able to read for meaning looks like a bit of a pipe dream with this news. Let's speak to someone who's actively engaged in trying to reach that goal. Writer and activist Elinor Sisulu is part of the 2030 Reading Panel of Experts, and she joins us now. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. The news from this PIRLS report, did it surprise you that we'd slipped so badly?
No, actually, we weren't shocked. At the reading panel meeting in January, we had some forecast and expected that there would be something like this.
Pupils, for this test, they read in the language of their school. So it's not like kids who are not great with English or Afrikaans are disadvantaged. It's reading for meaning in your own language. But what has come through quite clearly is that if you're living in a far-flung rural area, in a poor area, and in a school that doesn't focus on English and Afrikaans, you are more likely to be left behind. Now, we know the legacy of apartheid in creating divisions in education, but it seems that we are still entrenching those divisions. Why do you think we are still sitting with this problem? Where are we going wrong?
There's a multiplicity of reasons, and I think that for one thing, I think the investment in education hasn't been what it should have been, and that the gap, we literally have two schooling systems. We have an apartheid of the poor and the rich. And so those are issues that need to be addressed. When you have few schools having libraries, schools don't have enough books. So one of the major reasons is access to reading resources and lack of equitable access. So we actually have an intersection of three crises. We have the literacy and reading crisis. We have the marginalization of indigenous languages, so that language is an issue in school. And then we also have the digital divide, where because of poverty and other reasons, people are excluded. And actually, I want to add that load shedding also is going to have its impact, if not already, on reading results. Because if teachers are affected by load shedding, their ability to prepare, their ability to deliver what they need to do, to deliver to schools, is going to suffer. So this is a multiplicity of resources, of sources, and the reading panel has recommended improvements in education and investment, having a plan and a budget, and holding people responsible, accountable for delivering on that plan and budget. We have some literacy experts who are also recommending that there must be a conditional grant, that Treasury provides an conditional grant to enable provincial education departments to ensure that what is clearly a national priority is adequately and equitably provided for across the poorest performing provinces. So this was an article in the Daily Maverick by a group of educators and literacy experts. The Bua Lit Collective also has recommendations. And again, it's about providing materials in schools, and also that there must be investment in community and family literacy as well.
Yeah.
The other thing is, yes, there needs to be a focus on schools, there needs to be a focus on teachers, but there's a plethora of non-profits working in the reading space, which need to be supported and enabled to collaborate better. So that when you have a combination of these efforts, I believe it is possible that we can turn these numbers around.
At this rate, obviously, as you've explained, it's not going to be solved by a few COVID catch-up reading classes. As you say, there are major, major structural issues that need to be addressed, and they're not quick fixes. What are the consequences if we carry on as we are? Where are we heading in terms of our literacy rates?
Well, the consequences are increased divides, an increased literacy divide, increased digital divide, which leads to increased inequality. We have the fourth industrial revolution is a knowledge economy. And South Africa will become less and less competitive internationally. And especially if our neighboring countries have reading outcomes better than we do, this clearly has implications for socio-economic cohesion in the country. And when you have increasing marginalization of large sections of the population, the consequences are clear to tell.
Yeah, you've outlined a number of plans. You've spoken about conditional grants. At this rate, do you think it's an absolute pipe dream that we're going to reach that 2030 goal of having all our 10-year-olds being able to read for meaning? Do you think it's a near impossibility at this point?
Well, it may seem like a near impossibility, but we just have to try to do what we can. And I think with sufficient investment and mobilization, there's a lot that can be achieved. One good thing that government did recently was invest 25 billion into the Presidential Employment Support Program, which put many young people as literacy assistants in schools around the country. And I think that continuing that kind of investment and actually making this a priority in the same way as a priority for math, science, and technology, it will be possible to achieve a lot. I think saying it's a pipe dream is difficult. We actually just have to work and do what we can. And what encourages me is that there are amazing people in our communities across this country who are doing amazing work. We just embarking on a campaign with UNISA. We have a collaboration with UNISA and ILIFA, Indigenous Languages Initiative for Advancement, which is Professor Mpho Ngwepe, who's the head of School of Arts at UNISA, is running Comrades and is devoting this year's Comrades race to promoting children's books in Indigenous languages.
Yeah, that's
wonderful. So we're doing a fundraiser on that. Yeah, but it's not just a fundraiser, it's also advocacy to say this is an important... this is
You're
a
quite
crucial
right.
thing in our society.
It is crucial, and it's not just the funds. The funds are crucial. It's that focus. It's that realization, that acceptance that this is absolutely crucial. We have to get it right. But also, as you've explained so well, it also comes down to one person reading to a little one, to try and ignite that love of reading, that curiosity about reading, which really is the gateway to all knowledge. We have to get this right. And I wish you luck and strength with your plans. And let's hope that we can see a real turnaround and a real concerted ongoing focus on literacy in our schools, particularly the vulnerable ones who are poor in rural areas. Those are the children we need to really bring on board as well. Thank you so much for speaking to us this evening. That, of course, is writer and activist Elinor Sisulu.